your details on the agenda right now.
Good evening, everybody. It is the 15th of December. It is the last legislative session of 2021, I think. I hope I have that right. 2021. Interesting year. We'll talk more about that in the announcements, etc. And I think we can go to the pledge, and then we're going to go into roll call and public hearing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Trustee Fritchie.
I'm here.
It's okay. Trustee White,
Present.
Trustee Lopez,
Present.
Trustee Quesada,
Present.
Mayor Levin.
Present.
Okay, we're going to open our public hearing in the matter of proposed local law 17 of 2021, a local law amending the effective date of portions of local law 8, 2021, chapter 247 towing. Is there anybody here from the public who would like to speak on the public hearing? If so, please click on the virtual hand. We will bring you in. Do you see anybody, Jamie?
I do not, but we're having a little bit of trouble bringing over some people. They're not, that had panelist invitations aren't coming over for some reason, but no, there is no one, 100%.
Is there anything you'd like to say, Stuart, or do we just call for a closing for the public hearing?
Thank you, Martha. Why don't we just call for the motion to close the public hearing?
Okay, so then can I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Second.
Any comments from the board on this topic, which we've discussed at length, but any comments on it?
I just wanted to say thank you to Stuart to have worked really hard for this portion of the law. So thank you, and thank you for everybody that actually worked very hard. I would like to say several months, let's put it to you that way. I think we have a good law now, and then we can actually move forward with this.
Great. Martha?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Nobody, okay. Are we going to be doing the swearing in first, or are we moving on to mayor's and trustees announcement and administrative?
No, we are going to, and I'll take it from here. Thanks, Martha. We are going during the public hearing, which is now. We have some good news. We are going to swear in 4 officers tonight. I really love when we did it in person. The camaraderie, the picture taking took like longer than the meeting. It was so much fun. It's a big moment for so many folks in our community, especially since we hire officers from our community. For the most part, we do have transfers and etc. It's a big deal, and it's a big occasion. But with COVID, it's difficult to be in a public space, and especially as of Monday, under the mandate by Governor Hochul, really it's not a desirous scenario to have a lot of people in enclosed space. So we are adjusting, as we have all through 2021. Chief Sylvester is in the courtroom. No, is that the courtroom? With that picture, which I've never noticed before over there. Okay, in the courtroom with the officers. I am looking up. We're going to do this virtually for the oath of office. And Chief, it would be great if you told me the order so that we could do the oath. Oh, hello, everyone.
The
Mayor,
oath that
it's
I
in the
took,
agenda. I'm starting with the resolution A.
Okay, thank you, Stuart. I have everybody's names here. I just want to make sure I have the right person with the right resolution A.
That should match the order of the resolutions, I believe.
So we're doing we have 4, so we're doing every single person, Stuart, through a resolution, and then we swear them, each of them in?
That's ordinarily the way we do it.
Usually how it's done, Mayor.
Okay, I don't usually have 4, and it's been a while. So we're reading Resolution A, which I guess Martha will do. We vote on that, and then I swear the person in. Okie dokie, Martha.
Okay,
Your reading skills do not go fast the way you normally do. It's our last session because everybody should hear the names and all the information. So that's it. Hydrate and go for it.
resolution appointing Justin Carlson as probationary police officer. Whereas the County of Westchester Personnel Office has certified to the Village of Ossining a list of eligible candidates containing at least 3 names for the permanent appointed position of police officer. And whereas Justin Carlson is ranked on the aforesaid list of eligible candidates, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining, pursuant to the applicable provisions of the Civil Service Law and the unconsolidated laws of New York State, hereby appoints Justin Carlson from eligible list number 60-194 to the position of probationary police officer of the Village of Ossining Police Department, effective January 3rd, 2022, at an annual salary of $57,396. The appointment is subject to a probationary period of 78 weeks. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Comments from the board, because I know that at least one member of the board is always involved with the police department. Are there any comments?
I can start. I had the honor of being able to interview Justin and the rest of the folks that were swearing in tonight, and could not be more excited to do so. So congratulations as one of the first people to say so. And I wholeheartedly support Justin and the rest, but we'll do one by one in this endeavor.
Right. Agreed. The board has discussed, this is a very public affair, so everyone knows. I do want to welcome, I'm very excited, by the way, to bring on 4 new officers. We've been really hoping to bring on wonderful police officers into our community. So very exciting, I think, for all of us. And we can go to the vote.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Opposed? And then now we're going to do the swearing in, correct?
That would be right. I guess I'm supposed to stand. Normally I stand with the person. I feel a little bit silly. Do we need like a flag or something? Give it a little, okay. I can't see. There we go. Okay. Are you ready? You could just repeat after me once I go through it. I, Justin Carlson, will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
Will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or public trust.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
Further, that I am a resident of the state of New York.
Further, that I am a resident of the state of New York.
And I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York.
And I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York.
I will obey all the ordinances, rules, and regulations of the Village of Ossining.
I will obey all the ordinances, rules, and regulations of the Village of Ossining.
And will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer.
And will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer.
In and for the said Village of Ossining, New York, to the best of my ability.
In and for the said Village of Ossining, New York, to the best of my ability.
Welcome, congratulations.
So by way of introduction, Justin Carlson is a lifelong resident of Ossining. He's a graduate of Ossining High School, has an associate's degree in criminal justice. He comes to us with a bit of law enforcement experience, that he's been a community service worker, a civil service title, which includes parking enforcement and code enforcement, both in the village of Pleasantville and now in the town of Newcastle. So we're looking forward to having Justin here. He's a volunteer with our fire department for many years, a very dedicated member, a member of my own company. So we're glad to have him here, a longtime Ossining family, people really dedicated to our community. We're thrilled to have him here and we look forward to great things. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I guess now officially he's Officer Carlson, correct? Okay.
Okay. Resolution appointing Emily E. Costa as probationary police officer.
I have
Whereas
Shane Ryan as the next person. Do I have the, is
Stuart, what
that,
do you have? What's B, Stuart?
we have
B
B
is
as a
Emily
resolution.
E. Costa.
Switch.
it's Emily, then Fernando, and then Shane.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here you go.
There
Okay.
we are. Wait, let everybody get ready. Hold on. Let's not rush through this, people.
Got
Let's
it.
enjoy the moment, please. Okay, everybody's good? Okay, Martha.
Resolution appointing Emily E. Costa as probationary police officer, whereas the County of Westchester Personnel Office has certified to the Village of Ossining a list of eligible candidates containing at least 3 names for the permanent appointment position of police officer. And whereas Emily E. Costa is ranked on the AFRISA list of eligible candidates, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining, pursuant to the applicable provisions of the Civil Service Law and the unconsolidated laws of New York State, hereby appoints Emily E. Costa from the eligible list number 60-194 to the position of probationary police officer of the Village of Ossining Police Department, effective January 3rd, 2022, at an annual salary of $57,396. This appointment is subject to a probationary period of 78 weeks. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Comments from the board?
I'll go here as well. I really enjoyed speaking with you, Emily, and hearing about your interest in law enforcement going right when you're in school. And it's exciting to count you as one of the officers here in Ossining. So an early congratulations to you as well.
Thank you. And welcome to you as well, Emily. And congratulations on this moment. And I think we can go to a vote.
All
We're in
those
the
in
middle
favor?
of comments, right? Go ahead.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Almost didn't know how to vote. All right. raise your right
Okay.
hand.
Ready? Great. I, Emily Costa,
I, Emily Costa,
will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or my public trust, or the public trust.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
Further, that I am a resident of the state of New York,
Further, that I am a resident of the state of New York,
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York.
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York.
I will obey all the ordinances, rules, and regulations of the Village of Ossining,
I will obey all the ordinances, rules, and regulations of the Village of Ossining,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer.
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer
In and for the said Village of Ossining, New York, to the best of my ability.
in and for the said Village of Ossining, New York, to the best of my ability.
Welcome.
Hold on, stay here. Hold on, she's running away. Don't leave yet. We're gonna say nice things about you too. So very excited to have Emily here. Not so common to find a lot of women looking for jobs in law enforcement still as much as we go for that. So when we have the opportunity to bring somebody on board, very exciting. Emily is a graduate of SUNY Oswego, where she was a collegiate athlete playing volleyball. Very excited for that. But most importantly, we're going to take full credit for her standing here today because Emily was an intern with us here. And we are fully certain that she had no interest in law enforcement until she came here. And the good folks at the Ossining Police Department convinced her that this was the career, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we did. So we're going to take full credit for that, but very excited to have her here and can't wait to get you started.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome. Everybody seems to be running away as soon as we're done. Okay.
Okay.
Instructions.
Resolution,
Wait, let them get
Alright.
set up. Everybody good?
Making sure everybody knows the rules.
All righty, there we are.
resolution appointing Fernando Dennis as probationary police officer, whereas the County of Westchester Personnel Office has certified to the Village of Ossining a list of eligible candidates containing at least 3 names to the permanent appointment position of police officer. And whereas Fernando Dennis is ranked on the aforesaid list of eligible candidates, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining, pursuant to the applicable provisions of the Civil Service Law and the unconsolidated laws of New York State, hereby appoints Fernando Dennis from eligible list number 60-194 to the position of probationary police officer of the Village of Ossining Police Department, effective January 3rd, 2022, at an annual salary of $57,396. This appointment is subject to a probationary period of 78 weeks. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
What happened? Somebody wanted to say something? No? Okay, comments from the board?
I'll chip in to say that one of the exciting things about being able to hire from a local list is having folks that have so many connections to our community, and having somebody like Fernando that has connections to our schools is also a big plus. The chief will go into more of a background, but I wholeheartedly support Fernando as well.
Thank you, Trustee Lopez. Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, go ahead.
You ready?
Yes.
Great. Okay, I, Fernando Dennis,
I, Fernando Dennis,
will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or public trust.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
Further, that I am a resident of the state of New York,
Further, that I am a resident of the state of New York,
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York.
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York.
I will obey all the ordinances, rules, and regulations of the Village of Ossining,
I will obey all the ordinances, rules, and regulations of the Village of Ossining,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer.
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer
In and for the said Village of Ossining, New York, to the best of my abilities.
in and for the said Village of Ossining, New York, to the best of my ability.
Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Oh,
Go
boy.
ahead, Chief.
All right. So if you see moments of panic, our screen keeps flickering on and off. So we keep,
Oh.
we're gonna,
You
because,
guys are coming in, just so you know, we don't see it on our end. You're coming in super loud and clear.
okay. Yeah, no, it's just the screen flickering. We don't want to get kicked off because Shane still wants the job still. So Fernando, another local guy, grew up in Ossining here. He has a bachelor's degree from SUNY Cortland, and he is in process of completing a master's degree in special education, which we are wholeheartedly going to encourage and make sure that he finishes. Omar alluded to his connection to the school district. He's got a number of family members here that work in our school district, so they may look familiar when you see them later on. And this is what we look for. We look for people with education, people with dedication to our community, people with connection to our community, so that we have a sense of ownership here. And I know that that's what we've got here. So very excited to have him aboard. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we can get you started.
Congratulations. I always thought that in all our jobs, people should like welcome us in, applause, reading, raising our right hand. It's very exciting. Okay, and finally, we're back. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Okay.
Martha.
Resolution appointing Shane Ryan as probationary police officer, whereas the County of Westchester Personnel Office has certified to the Village of Ossining a list of eligible candidates containing at least 3 names for the permanent appointment position of police officer. And whereas Shane Ryan is ranked on the aforesaid list of eligible candidates, now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining, pursuant to the applicable provisions of the Civil Service Law and the unconsolidated laws of New York State, hereby appoints Shane Ryan from eligible list number 60-194 to the position of probationary police officer of the Village of Ossining Police Department, effective January 3rd, 2022, at an annual salary of $57,396. This appointment is subject to a probationary period of 78 weeks. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments from the board?
I'll finish it off to say that we had a really rigorous process where Shane and the other folks tonight, but in particular here, Shane, I had to go through speaking with Lieutenant and the Chief and myself and Trustee Casada as well, and having that and physical and so many other different things that he had to go through to get to this point is a huge accomplishment, and really excited for you being able to serve our community. So thank you, Shane.
Thank you.
Great. And now we're ready for the vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay.
Okay, there we are. Finally, I, Shane Ryan,
I, Shane Ryan,
will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
Further, that I'm a resident of the state of New York,
Further, that I'm a resident of the state of New York,
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York.
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York.
I will obey all the ordinances, rules, and regulations of the Village of Ossining.
I will obey the ordinances, rules, and regulations of the Village of Ossining,
And will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer
in and for the said Village of Ossining, New York, to the best of my ability.
in and for the said Village of Ossining, New York, to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, and again, welcome.
Okay, so Shane Ryan, little bit about him. Not a guy that grew up in Ossining, but he's a longtime Ossining family. So those of you that have been around Ossining government for a while, his grandmother may look familiar to you. Some of you will introduce later on. Shane is a graduate of University of West Virginia. He's also was a cadet with the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. He's also been a park ranger with Westchester County. He went to Boy State. He has been gearing up for a life in local government as a police officer, I think, from the day he's born. So if ever I saw somebody that spent their entire life preparing for this moment right here, this is the guy. Very excited to have him here. Great things coming. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Great.
So with permission, we'd like to turn our camera off. We're going to do some photos and I'll rejoin the meeting in a few minutes from my office upstairs, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, give me just give me 1 minute. And I hope to actually formally meet all 4 of you at some point. Because of COVID, we are staying a little more isolated than most of us would like to be. I know a lot of other officers are attending this virtually, and you will see all of them. I truly am, on behalf of the board, welcome all of you. And I know this is a start of what I hope will be a courageous and fruitful career for both you and also for the members of this community, who I think on behalf of this community, we do welcome you and hope to get the opportunity to get to know you. And also, may I say, as a parent, that for your parents, for some of you who have your parents there, your families there, you know, it's a moment for all of them as well. And so we appreciate the time that they're taking to participate, and congratulate all of them for paying your tuitions and all the other good stuff that have happened. I'm kidding around a little bit, but I think it is a moment for the families as well as just a job. This isn't just a job. It really is something that's important to our community. 21 has been a tough year, I think, for both for police officers and for the general public. And so you're coming in a little bit of to be honest, a tough time. So we really do appreciate all that you will be doing for us in your career. So enjoy the rest of the evening or whatever is being planned. And congratulations to all of you. Thank you, Chief. Great. Okay. We are moving on.
To Mayor's and Trustees announcements.
Right. All the attendees are welcome to stay. I see they're all popping right off. But I do feel somewhat obligated to at least let everyone know they're welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting or part of the meeting.
Yeah, please stay, enjoy the party.
Yeah, because that's what this is. No, it's actually our last meeting. It should be interesting. So let us go to the agenda. And we are going into Mayor's and Trustees announcements. Do we have any announcements from the trustees?
I have some.
Trustee White.
Okay. I have a few. Sorry, it's like that time of year when you gotta like get everything in there, right?
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
I would like to remind people that you still have time to donate to the Baker Collier Christmas Cheer Fund. This is at 106 years, the longest running charitable institution here in the Village group. They provide Christmas baskets for families that need them, and over 350 local families benefit from this. So they pay for the food through donations. So to donate, you can go to www.thebakercollierchristmascheerfund.com and you can donate online, and it goes to a great cause. The second thing I have is that this Saturday at the Farmers Market, there's going to be a local pop-up holiday market, and it's a community collaboration involving the Chamber, Down to Earth Markets, the Backpack, which is a Black and Caribbean coalition, and NU. And it's from 8 to 1, and they're going to have crafts and holiday gifts and food and music. There'll be raffles, so that's from 8 to 1. And then finally, Tuesday is the shortest day of the year. That's the day that has traditionally been Make Music Day in Ossining and Briarcliff. And the Mike Risco Music School organizes this every year, and it is free musical performances around the town from 9 in the morning till 9:30 in the evening. And if you want to see the schedule, go to MikeRiscoMusicSchool.com. But several businesses here in the Village will be participating. The library, which is not a business, but the library, Good Choice Kitchen, Sing Sing Hill Brewery, Village Villarinas, the Austin Children's Center, Seatown. There will all be musical artists there performing free of charge. So be sure to check that out in your day as you go through your day. That's it. Thanks.
If I may, could I just piggyback off of something Dana said?
Mhm.
The Baker Cheer Fund, the baskets will be packed on, I believe, Tuesday, the 22nd or Wednesday, the 22nd, whatever. They're packed on the 22nd, 6 o'clock at Acme. If it wasn't for the helping hand of the fire department, who actually packs the baskets, and then the next morning at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, we go out and deliver the baskets to the homes. So between the Collier Committee and the fire department and the venturing crew, soon to be Ossining Fire Department's crew. It's something to see how we do what we do at that night. So if you have a chance to stop by, or you feel like helping out and packing a couple baskets, we'll be at Acme at 6 o'clock on the 22nd. Thank you.
Bob, isn't it done like fire brigade style? They pass.
Yeah,
the-
we line up,
It's actually
we line up,
quite something.
yeah, we line up 24 baskets, two rows of 12, and there's people on each side. And it starts from one end and it just gets passed down, boom, 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 boom. You know, corn, turkey, this, that, and it just keeps coming. It's a nonstop production. And we've got it down. We've been doing it for so long. We've got it down to a science. So, and all depending on the number of baskets we figured out. And then we take them out and we put them around the store, around all the refrigerated areas. So if you happen to walk in, go shopping on that night and you can't reach the milk, it's because we got baskets packed in front of it. But it's a good time, a lot of camaraderie, and we're doing a good thing for the village.
And Acme is a great partner as well. They've done it
Yes,
for several
we've been
years now.
we've been a partner with them for quite a few years.
Okay.
Great. Dana,
I'm done.
is that it?
Mhm.
Okay,
I'm done.
anyone else, please? I can't see anybody raising their hand. Am I missing someone? We're good. Okay, you might be announcing this later, village manager, but Marissa Rakusin, should we just, in case anybody's wondering who she is, instead of waiting, can we say a couple of words here? And welcome, by the way, Marissa.
We absolutely can. We'd like to welcome Marissa Rakusin. And we've been mispronouncing her name the whole time, and she's finally inadvertently made us aware of that. So we're trying to correct that. I believe the correct pronunciation is Rakusin. Marissa just joined us as Director of Personnel on Monday. We are thrilled to have her here. She's already hit the ground running. She had her first OEM meeting today, first board meeting tonight, first staff meeting tomorrow. So Marissa, please, by all means, introduce yourself to the Board of Trustees and the public.
Gosh, well, thank you, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here and to be part of the team. I am a village resident for 7 years. I have a pretty long history in human resources. After I graduated from law school and took the bar exam, I joined Bloomingdale's and was there for about 12 years and really, moved through the different departments in HR and different positions, learning as much as I could. I've most recently been at West Elm for the past 2.5 years as the manager supporting all of the retail associates. Throughout the past 2.5 years have really, or at least the past year, have been wanting to figure out a way to get involved more in the community in which I live. And, when I saw the mayor's posting about this role, just knew I had to get it. And so I am so thrilled that the day has finally come, or the week and I'm just so excited to really get started, and just want to thank all of you for your support, and I look forward to working with all of you. So thank you.
Well, welcome, Marissa. And if I may add, aside from it's always nice to have a family, and I got to meet your family. We were all outdoors. Always enjoyable. It's one of the fun things about being a mayor. I also want to thank Maddie Sahaj, who has stepped in and up and out and done a lot of work to cover a role that is integral to the success of our municipality and our village in so many ways, and made more complicated by a pandemic that caused really uncharted waters from a human resource point of view. It's not just going to the right people at the right time, it's also the way messages are delivered. I almost feel, Marissa, that you have big shoes to fill, with Maddie Sahaj, but I don't want to I don't want to push. But thank you very much, Maddie, for all that you do, support with Jamie. I mean, the whole team jumps in. It's really a pleasure. It is the last meeting of the year and the first meeting of the following tend to be a little bit longer. We want to bring closure to one year, begin another. So I do want to make a couple more announcements. Number one, congratulations to Trustee Fritchie. As many of you know, also in the fire department. I should have mentioned it last week, but I don't like to make these announcements at work sessions. They don't seem as big of a deal as they do during legislative sessions. So Bob has received recently the First Responders Heroes Award. I think, Bob, as you and I discussed earlier, it's really the first one being given by our Senator, Reichlin Melnick. And Bob is the only firefighter, but actually the only one from Westchester County that received the honor. So Bob, where is he on my screen? I'm not seeing Bob. What happened, Bob?
I'm
Oh,
here.
you're right in the center. In my screen, you sort of fell off to the side here. No. So congratulations, Bob.
Thank you.
And you know,
It was
not much to say. I think, like, let's hear from you a couple of words about the event.
well, to be honest, I received an email from, I guess, one of his assistants, and I'm reading it, and it's, first responders that go up and above and beyond the call of duty, blah, 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 blah. And I read through it, and it says, a lot of Rockland. So I respond back thinking maybe they sent this to the wrong person. So I responded back, and she responds back, no, you were chosen to receive this citation, award, whatever you want to call it. I was like, oh. So, and she says, if you could please follow up with a bio. So of course, I had a bio that I sent them, and it was a nice little ceremony Monday night. Again, I was the only recipient in Westchester because, and I was the only fireman actually that received anything. And there were other, EMTs, a lot of police officers, and some other social workers that, if you heard their stories, I felt I was honored to be in their presence. And I thanked Elijah, and he so dutifully dubbed me with being in charge next year of picking the next recipient out of Westchester or Ossining, wherever it may be, whatever he covers his district.
You meant to say Ossining.
Yeah. So, and I was like, wow, that's great. It was nice. It was a nice little ceremony. And I truly am humbled and honored to have received it. And like I explained to those people there that night, we don't do this for accolades. We do it because we care, and it's in you to do the job. I've been doing it since 1979, so I do have quite an extensive resume throughout the state, the county, and the Hudson Valley. So again, thank you. And it is so truly appreciated, and I'm really humbled by this.
Thank you, Bob. And Bob is obviously one of our trustees, and we always say the trustees and our elected official come from different walks of life, different life experiences, different volunteer organizations and all that. Bob obviously very clearly aligned, does a lot of work with our volunteer fire department. So appreciate it, and congratulations. And to your lovely wife, who, if she didn't post things, I wouldn't know anything about you. So
Well, she's my press publicity person. So
okay. So one more announcement. A village manager usually discusses this, but I decided to finally, it's the last part of the year, so I'm going to go for it. When we hired our village manager, and then she had asked for an assistant village manager, we had not had one for a short time. The board at that time, and I think still, really does watch every dollar spent, including on the biggest portion of money spent is on staffing. So we don't take it lightly when we hire people, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the things we talked about is grants, that we have not been able to get the kind of grants we believe the village of Ossining should get. And part of it is that we may not have been able to put the right human asset against the work required to both find grants, apply for them, follow up, then roll them out. and deal with all the strings that are attached to every single grant, but it's well worth it. It actually pays for itself in some ways, and it moves us forward without raising taxes, to be honest, and we're a big village. So I do want to point out that not only did we get a DRI, which is a huge, huge grant, and we've spoken a lot about it, and there's more to come on that, and the village manager may have an update here and there. But today, before the meeting, the board received a note that thanks to Governor Hochul and the state, that we have been awarded a CFA grant, a New York State CFA grant for $18,750 to do the study on consolidation of firehouses, a topic that was on our agenda over the last couple of years. That is one of our main initiatives, that we have talked about over Manny's going to tell me how many years, but it's a while. We have a lot of firehouses. We have which is a good thing. Some of them are older buildings, some of them need work, etc., etc. So I do want to say that congratulations to the village. I don't know if Karen is planning to speak on it. I didn't exactly coordinate. I don't coordinate all of what I'm going to say with the village manager, but congratulations, and that allows us to move forward. Bob and I had spoken earlier that we've been waiting for a grant like this, and it allows us now to use that funding to do a more proper updated study. Once that's done, to then put a plan in place, initiate the plan, execute the plan, move on to the next thing. So that's the process. So very much appreciated. Also, just want to let the public know that earlier today, I signed on with other mayors. We are part of something called NICON, which is the New York Conference, I guess, of Mayors, to really encourage Governor Hochul, who has shown herself to be a supporter of municipalities, not just from the top down, from the bottom up. It's her background, actually. She started in politics the way the five of us on the board are starting out. Some of us like being exactly in this spot, and some of us will move on to who knows how high up in government, to be seen. But I signed up as one of the mayors to support increasing AIM funding, which helps from the state level to receive funding. A lot of you work on AIM. And so just as an FYI, that it's something I signed up to push the governor to increase the amount that is being considered going forward. And lastly, again, because it's for me, the wrap up the year, I wrote a note that I just like to read into the record because these are public meetings, that I decided to sort of wrap up the year. I will write sort of a what's next kind of letter going forward in my first one in January. And so I just wanted to read this into the record and to read this to the public, and to those that don't get or subscribe to my mayor's message. For me as mayors, and I have the wrong one, sorry, let me just, I don't want to go on and on with this, so let me just bring it up. Sorry. Otherwise, I go off in tangents. Here we are. For me, the job of mayor is a very personal one, in that the responsibilities are not abstract, they're not theoretical, they're direct, they're specific, and they're personal and intimate. The commitment to you and your family's safety at home, work, on the streets, for your neighborhood parks to be safe, beautiful, active, for your children's play, for your garbage and trash to be neatly collected, your neighborhood's peaceful and economy bustling to benefit your livelihood, a village growing in fiscal strength and fairness, the inspiration of the arts accessible to all, lovely, positive civic spaces, your reasoned optimism for your future to serve you in times of crisis defined by a pandemic, floods, and the influence of political scenarios which affect us all. In attending to those and other responsibilities, I've had the opportunity to hear from you, your letters, your emails, phone calls, at village meetings, village focus groups, neighborhood association meetings, civic organizations, or coming out of the local grocery store, walking down the street, and so many other encounters. In this process, a most wonderful thing happens to me each and every day. Through those thousands of interactions, I got to know you and appreciate you while having an opportunity to understand your wishes. That has been a priceless treasure that has inspired me to work harder, do more, and do it better. I should have quoted Oprah Winfrey once in saying that during one of her messages. I just realized I should give her the credit for saying that. Through all of our encounters and communications, I also got to know your values. That is what you would find most fulfilling, what would enrich your lives and the lives of your families, and what would make you happy and proud of your village. During this administration, I've tried to think clearly on how this Board of Trustees together can undertake to turn those aspirations into reality, whether it was seeking to make our village more just and welcoming, safer and more livable, restoring our bucolic downtown, enhancing the waterfront, improving our water plant, creating more housing opportunities, cleaning the parks, and adding more trees and improving our roads. I would also add transitioning our fleets to electric power, enhancing the community center, building a COVID memorial as a respite for our community, supporting vaccinations and distribution of food to those in need. As a team working with staff, our goal has been to create a desirable destinations to live. We are attracting new, better jobs, improving downtown, and creating a welcoming community to new families from the city, immigrants from around the world, and multi-generational families who have invested deeply and widely in our community. Through the democratic process, our village is able to provide the opportunity for citizens to form partnerships, create new institutions and programs, care for the poor and homeless, enhance our children's education, protect open lands forever, strengthen health clinics, empower neighborhoods, assist senior citizens, mentor the youth, adjust to health hazards caused by a global pandemic, and so much more. As Alexis de Tocqueville, the French writer who studied America in the early 18th century, observed, the freedom of democracy does not produce a selfish people, but rather it enhances the natural human instinct to be generous and help others. I can count hundreds of initiatives that you, the people of our community, instituted and maintain. I love the honor of supporting you as you make our community a fine and more just place to call home. That is why it is such an honor to serve you, to have a front row seat on the so many beautiful acts of kindness and service. I have chosen not to list the many accomplishments of 2021. I've listed those as they were happening. The initiatives and our accomplishments are available in the weekly's mayor message on our website. On this last mayor's message of 2021, in the conclusion of my first year as your mayor, I would like to state that there were many achievements, and those achievements were not mine alone. Instead, they were yours and the many hardworking village employees, elected officials, police, fire department, and OVAC. I accomplished nothing alone, nor is this time to list projects and initiatives for the next few years. I will do that in my first mayor's message and speech of 2022. Instead, I would like to conclude with these three thoughts for our village future. First, we must always be guided by the standard of excellence. We have the responsibility to seek excellence in everything we do. Mediocrity is beneath the goodness and quality of Ossining. We must look well into the future and ask ourselves if what we are considering will be deemed excellent in 25, 50, or even 100 years from now. This is ever more important in a time of economic growth. It is easy to accept mediocrity willingly. It is hard to demand excellence, but that is what I intend to do. I know that I have a strong and energized board of trustees that joins me in that drive. Second, there is no better place than a diverse community with its long history of democratic shifts to acknowledge that the long march for racial understanding and justice is not finished. As we were heartbreakingly reminded again this year, we must do better and hold our institutions accountable for their actions. Third, we are on the dawn of a new age that is confronted with a recognized ability to harm or heal our planet. It is every person's duty to heal and protect. Our every action affects our neighbors. As the old African proverb states, we did not inherit our land from our ancestors. We hold it in trust for future generations, and the future is here. May you enjoy the holiday season, and may 2022 bring you health, joy, peace, and financial independence. I am in gratitude and grateful to my Board of Trustees, Deputy Mayor Manuel Quesada, Trustees Robert Fritchie, Trustee Omar Lopez, Trustee Dana White, the village management and staff, and you, our residents. I thank you for your time, and I hope that we will be doing great things in 2022. And those are my announcements for the evening, and we can go with the rest of the agenda. Anybody else have announcements, by the way, because I did ask, Dana said, I didn't see any other hands, but I know it's the last meeting, so doesn't stop anybody from changing their mind. Very good. All righty. Martha.
Village Manager Karen DeTore.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. Good evening, everybody. Mayor, thank you for the lovely year-end announcement. We are ending on a good note, as the mayor said. We did receive a grant in a little of an excess of $18,000 to do a study on consolidating our firehouses. What's really particularly good about this grant, one, we're doing it in partnership with the town, so it'll be very comprehensive, but also if we're successful and we can demonstrate real savings in this plan, then we would be eligible to apply for more funding, could be hundreds of thousands of dollars that could be used for the implementation of the plan. So to that end, we're very strategic about how we apply for grants. We make sure that they're in line with the goals and objectives of the community. And when we're fortunate enough to get them, and we've had a good run this year, we make sure that we use them and optimize them. And one opportunity always seems to lead to another, and that's a really good thing. Specifically with regards to the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, we did have a meeting with the state, the mayor, myself, and a few other staff members with the state team to talk about the Downtown Revitalization Initiative and next steps. And just to provide briefly a little bit of the next steps is that we will be working with the state to form a committee. The committee will be approximately 12 people, and it will involve state representatives, members of the Regional Economic Council, Development Council, possibly people from the county, as well as members of our own community that will be selected through a process that goes through the state. And that local planning committee will basically become the ambassadors for the community and the steering committee for the project. We will be working with a consulting firm that will be assigned to us by the state of New York, and $300,000 of the $10 million grant will be allocated to a consulting firm, actually probably a couple of firms, who will work with us for a period of about 6 months to really develop and hone our projects and flesh them out. And ultimately, that will allow the state to assign specific funding amounts and determine the projects. Throughout all of this, there will be tremendous public engagement. Being on the committee is not necessarily how you get your voice heard. We will have the opportunity to get all stakeholders, different constituencies, different representatives of the community who have different interests, talking about this project. And just as a refresher, the goal of the project is a comprehensive approach to boosting local economies by transforming communities into vibrant neighborhoods where the next generation of New Yorkers will want to live, work, and raise a family. So really, this is all about creating communities that are thriving, vibrant, good housing opportunities, a range of opportunities, and a very diverse mix of opportunities to make sure that we are attracting and keeping people in our community and that our local businesses are thriving. So I just would like to put up the map. Maddie, you have the map, right?
Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay.
So when we at the onset, when we did the written application for the DRI, we were asked to create a very discrete area with specific boundaries. And it's maybe a little hard to see, but this map really covers the west side of Route 9 from the community center to 200 Main Street, all the way down Main Street, all the way down encompassing the 30 Water Street, the DPW site, the Henry Gordine Park, and back up. So it really is a very specific area. And the reason, and actually, I'm sorry, it goes all the way down to Sing Sing Prison Museum, or the proposed Sing Sing Prison Museum. Apologies for that. So the reason that we selected this area is because this area really, we were able to identify projects that fell very much in line with the state goals. And part of it is having site control over those projects. So this is also the area where the village owns the largest number of properties. So the goals are very directed to economic development, and being able to win this award depended on making sure that we hit those marks, which included project readiness, that the project is well developed and poised to proceed in the near term in a way that will jumpstart redevelopment of the neighborhood. The state would like to see a catalytic effect, so that way the project not only has significant positive impact on revitalization in the downtown area, but that it attracts other public and private investment. So it's not just public investment. This is to attract developers and businesses and the like. Co-benefits. The project will result in secondary benefits to both the community and the project developer beyond the primary goal of the project itself, which will generate additional economic activity, grow the local property tax base, improve quality of life in the neighborhood, and or result in improved buildings likely to create healthier and more comfortable and productive environments in which to work and live. And of course, cost effectiveness and sustainability are also important elements of what the state is looking for. So if you look at our project, starting at the community center, improving the community center certainly will have a big impact on the way on the health and well-being and quality of life for our community. And we know that we have a lot of, the community center has been around for a while. We had the pool a few years ago, but it's definitely some upgrades. I think we can all agree it's time to look at that space and be able to redesign it more effectively for now and the future. We've been working at the bank building at 200 Main Street, so it's under remediation now. And this is an example of where one grant helped build to another. We did not get the DRI last time it was awarded, but we did get a subsequent consolidated funding application grant, and we used it for Main Street. Now that we're moving ahead and being successful with that, we're now able to get more money to fit up that building for a private sector partner, get it back on the tax rolls, and again, help spark development and economic growth in our Main Street area. We are looking at the Main Street lots that are owned by the village on Market Square and the post office lot. So they are poised for redevelopment, and that we will probably do a lot of community engagement on that. We know how important it is to people in this community to maintain a village square and not overdevelop our area. But we would like to be able to rebuild those lots, replacing and we're really sort of correcting some of the devastation that was done during urban renewal, but doing it in a way that makes sense for the way people live today. So again, more efficient neighborhoods, more walkable neighborhoods, more opportunity to have more things going on in our downtown. Now, the repurposing of the Firehouse is also something that works very closely in this. And although we didn't ask for specific funding for this in the DRI, now that we're doing this plan, it's all going to lay out really nicely, because two of the firehouses are in this area, and that would be Steamer Company and Monitor Hose. Those are also two of the firehouses that were identified in the last study that was done in 2009 as firehouses that really don't meet the needs as well as they could for firefighting in today's day and age. Also, any of our public-private partnerships will help facilitate other public improvements that may have otherwise have to been borne by the developer, but now can be, we can use these funds to leverage. So that would be making the 5-way intersection safer, adding parking structures where none currently exist, so that if we do develop the Main Street lots, that we would have a place to offset that parking, but it wouldn't necessarily be right in the middle of the street where we could have more business development. We're also looking at enhancements to streetscaping and our Sing Sing Hill, the Sing Sing Hill walkway will be completed when we do the 30 Water Street project. But we're also looking at ways of enhancing that experience with art exhibits and historic exhibits, streetscaping along the Main Street corridor and in Station Plaza down by the waterfront. And down on at the waterfront side, we have been talking about a Village Pier extension. We've also been talking about weekend ferry service. And if we can get New York Waterway to work with us, and we're hoping we can, that becomes more of an opportunity. And now we have another avenue to draw more people to our community via the riverfront. And because our sister village across the river, Havistraw, has also won the 10 million DRI, this gives us an opportunity to work on our waterfronts strategically in context so that we can develop opportunities for people to take river cruises and tours, to drive people from Havistraw to Ossining and vice versa. So that's, again, another opportunity that really speaks to the regional aspect of this development initiative, another state objective. And we also have the Sing Sing Prison Museum, and we're hopeful that we can use some of this money to help them as they embark on constructing their visitor center and ultimately the museum as that becomes a reality, and also a big attraction and part of economic development for Ossining in the region as well. So just to give a little context, we will be keeping you as informed as we talk to the state, as we form the local planning committee, and as we go forward, but expect over the next 6 months, you will be hearing a lot from us about the DRI, and we'll be asking the community a lot of questions and getting them involved in every way possible. So thank you very much. And I'd also I'd be remiss in not ending the year by saying thank you very, very much to the Village of Ossining staff, the Ossining Police Department, the Board of Trustees, and everyone who has worked so well together to make so many wonderful things happen in our community. It is an honor and a pleasure to work with all of you, and I wish you all a very, very happy and healthy holiday season.
Thank you. Before we go to next one, any questions for the village manager? Or we go on to Corporation Counsel, Kahan.
Mayor, if I may, just kind of piggybacking some of the stuff that was said early today, about your message from you and sort of overall what it has happened this past year. Even though it's been a tough year, almost 2 years now with the pandemic, one of the things that we have seen, or I have witnessed, as I have said, and people kind of mentioned this, that I've been doing this for a little bit longer than a lot of you guys. One thing that I have seen this past year is how hard our staff has worked for our community. In 2021, as we close the year, we have seen all the hard work actually paid off for all the years that village board members have sat on these chairs. We have created, I want to say we, because we as a group have created this whole foundation. And $10 million is not something small. It's something big for our community. So one thing that I'm going to ask from staff is, we need another $10 million next year as well, so we can keep going every year. So not too much pressure from you guys, but you know, we'll hope to get another
That's
$10
not a-
million for them.
Sure, not a problem.
Thank you, Karen.
Not a
No, but
problem.
thank you for all. This is not just, you know, it's from everybody. It's like every single member of the staff does a little bit to improve the quality of life for our residents. And that's what public servant means to me. You know, as little as it look like, so for us as a big picture makes the whole picture bigger for us. You know, sometimes when a phone call is made to one of our residents, sometimes it's like just to give them some information, it means a lot to them, and it means a lot to us as well. Just that's what the way it should be. You know, but thank you for everything, for all the hard work that you have done. And like I said, we are closing off 2021, going with the right foot, I guess. So we want to start 2022 with the right foot. And so thank you for everything.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anybody else have any comments? Not obligated, you know, I just like to go around the gallery. See if anybody has comments. Not seeing any. We're good. You're right there, Chief. Your lights are blinking or something. Everything okay over there? Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, our lights are motion sensor and I was sitting still.
Oh. Wow. Okay. Let us move on to Corporation Counsel, Stuart Kahan. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, members of the board and staff. There's one more land use board meeting this year, and that is the planning board on the 21st. It is a very busy agenda. It begins at 7 o'clock. Anyone wants to see what is on the agenda or wants to watch the meeting, you can get all that information from the village's website. 2021 from the Corporation Council's end has been a busy year. As of right now, this board has adopted 14 local laws, and hopefully within the next half hour, they will adopt local law 15. The local laws have run the gamut, but they have actually been on some very significant topics. Special events, administrative adjustments for the zone for zoning matters. You've adopted form-based codes based upon the comprehensive plan. Notice of land use action. Some of you may be driving around the village and see those signs that are now popping up that there are land use matters out there. There's a new comprehensive towing statute, which will go into effect, most of it on January 1st, a small part on July 1st. The board adopted a best value standard with regard to procurement. The board opted out of cannabis lounges or smoking locations. So it's been busy. Early next year, the board will again consider revisions to Chapter 8 relating to the Civilian Police Complaint Review Board, and there will be other things that will be coming down. None of these local laws could be even started without the assistance of staff. Jamie Hoffman in particular with regard to special events. I got all these emails and all these notes on what should be done and what should not be done and how to work insurance and all this other stuff. And I threw up my hands and said, okay, it's time to just write this so that we can go on to the next thing. But Jamie and Bill on that, Joe Augustinelli and Jaime Martinez in particular with regard to the administrative adjustments and the notice, towing, the assistance of the chief and other folks at OPD. Best value, my thanks to Dale with everything there, and obviously the board with regard to the opt-out. If staff does not help, the laws don't get written and the laws don't get considered and don't get adopted. It's as simple as that. In many ways, I act as the scrivener to put together what the staff has wanted to put together, but it's a pleasure working with everyone here. It has been a busy year, and just in numbers alone, we can see that. But it has been in many ways a fruitful year as we go forward. With many of the laws now coming into effect, special events, those policies are being used all the time. I know Joe will start with the administrative adjustments, and we do have two properties that are going to be using form-based codes, or want to use form-based codes, and which is helpful. And we're teaching our land use boards about form-based codes and how they can adopt to them. We're also looking at new policies with regard to procurement and reimbursement. So 2022 promises to be as busy, if not busier, than 2021. I would be remiss if I did not mention that 2021 saw the adoption of the plan for police reform and reinvention, and also the adoption of the comprehensive plan, all of which was thanks to this board. But again, without the assistance of staff throughout all the departments, it simply would not function. So from someone who has essentially sat in his office for the past about 21 months, with the exception of coming out every once in a while when someone knocks on the door, I want to thank everybody who has made my job that much easier. And a brief shout out, if I might, to my wife, who has to deal with this when I come home at all these weird hours, wondering what is going on. But she makes me tick. So thank you, and thank you, everybody.
I gotta text Ellen to like get on that call, but it's nicely recorded, so there you are. Okay, thank you, Stuart, Kahan, and it's been a crazy year, and it's sort of amazing when you look at other municipalities, and yeah, it's a lot of quantity and a lot of quality that's going to stand up for a long time to come, and I think that's really important, that combination. So we thank you. Police Chief Kevin Sylvester.
Just a couple of quick things. Yesterday, I participated in the meeting with Westchester County Department of Community Mental Health. They're reviewing RFP submissions for a mobile crisis response team. What that is going to end up looking like is still, I believe, up in the air, but concrete steps towards trying to get a crisis team back. So that'll certainly be helpful to communities around Westchester County, particularly ours, where there's a pretty significant need for that. On a more positive note, Sunday at 9 a.m., our department will host our annual candy cane run. I understand Santa Claus will be here, so police officers will be driving him around town. A schedule was published to Facebook, I believe, earlier today, so folks can find it there. And we'll get to as many people as we can. I'm already overloaded with all the people that are disappointed that we're not coming to their street also, but there's only one Santa Claus and only one police department and only so many streets we can hit. So we'll do the best we can. That's all we've got going on here for now, though. Thanks.
Did Officer Chavez put that on Facebook in Spanish as well at this point?
I don't know because I don't monitor his page. I believe he has, but I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Looking forward to that. I love this time of the year, honestly. I don't even celebrate Christmas, but I love it. Thank you. Great. Okay. Martha, that is done with announcements. We're moving on.
Sure. Is there anybody who would like to make an organizational announcement? If so, please click on your virtual hand. Okay, seeing no one. Is there anybody here from the public that would like to comment on any of the resolutions on the agenda tonight? If so, please click on your virtual hand and we will call you in.
I don't see anyone raising their hands right now.
Okay, seeing no one, we're going to move along to our village board resolutions. To resolution E. Approval of minutes, December 1st, 2021, resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the December 1st, 2021 regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Comments? Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of minutes, December 8th, 2021. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the December 8th, 2021 special meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments? Martha?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Nobody? Okay, approval of voucher detail, December 15, 2021. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated December 15, 2021 in the amount of $4,376,774.97. Do you
Right,
have a
somebody's writing that in?
Yes,
Because on my piece, it's looked, okay.
yes, something must have happened, but it's gonna be there, yes.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Comments?
I just want to say, I can never say enough. Thank you, Dell, and your staff for all the hard work that you guys do. Seeing that number, after reading the email that you sent me on Friday night, it's like, okay, that makes sense. Usually it's a little bit higher, I recall, from last year. So I was kind of happy to see it was a little bit less than last year, but it all balances out at the end of the year. So most likely we're going to be seeing a little bit less next year, or the first quarter, at least the first two and the first month of the year, and then kind of goes back again. So, but thank you for all the hard work that you guys do.
And always appreciate Deputy Mayor Casada, who has raised his hand, and all trustees can do this. When I started, I spent quite a bit of time. We took turns looking at all the details of the vouchers. We continue to do the same, although I think a lot of folks here have done it. Not me this year, but it really is very enlightening as to all the details of the municipality, who spends what, where, and when. Once in a while, we find a question that we need to ask or get resolved. Once in a while, an error of some sort. Generally speaking, it's just really good practice. And it's attention to details. So thank you. That's why it's usually Deputy Mayor Casada who speaks about it, but other trustees have also have raised their hand and have done some of this as well. We'll continue to do that. And so I thank also the trustees who, in addition to being here once a week, we actually, during the week, work on many different projects, and we liaise to different committees, etc. So thanks, Manny, for that. Dale loves getting those emails. She actually does. I think you actually do enjoy people paying attention to all of this, because I think it's a team effort. Okay, we're going to vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Finance resolution regarding unpaid water and sewer charges, whereas the village treasurer has presented to the Board of Trustees a statement setting forth the amount of all delinquent unpaid water and sewer charges and arrears located in the village limits, including penalties with the identification of the real property affected. And whereas pursuant to section 11-1118 of the village law, such water charges are a lien upon the premises affected thereby. And whereas pursuant to section 452 of the general municipal law, such sewer charges are a lien upon the premise affected thereby. Now therefore be it resolved, pursuant to section 11-1118 of the village law and section 452 of the general municipal law, the unpaid water and sewer charges plus penalties as set forth in the submitted statement from the village treasurer be, and the same hereby are levied upon the property in default and added to the annual tax levy with respect to such property. And be it further resolved, the amounts levied hereby shall be collected and enforced in the same manner and at the same time as may be provided by law for the collection and enforcement of village taxes. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments, possibly Stuart, a little bit of an explanation for a quick minute on what this is about, so the public knows.
Sure, Mayor. And Dale, if I make a mistake, I'm sure you'll correct me on this one. But what this is, Mayor, is essentially an annual resolution that is put before the board relating to, as it states, unpaid water and sewer charges. And under the village code, where they are unpaid, those sewer charges can then become a lien on the premises through property taxes. And they basically, this is authorizing the village treasurer to put those amounts on the property taxes for those particular properties that are delinquent.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, vote. Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Reappointment of John Freed to the Village of Ossining Board of Ethics. Resolved that John Freed is reappointed to the Board of Ethics for a 3-year term commencing on January 1st, 2022 and ending on December 31st, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Authorizing the village manager to sign an agreement with Nelson Pope Voorhis to provide coordination and management services for work related to the development of the village's Downtown Revitalization Initiative, DRI Strategic Investment Plan. Resolved that upon review by the Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign an agreement with Nelson Pope Voorhis, NPV 156 Route 59, Suite CF C6, Suffern, New York 1090001 to provide project coordination and management services for work related to the development of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, DRI Strategic Investment Plan, and be it further resolved that the services to be performed by NPV and NPV's hourly rate schedule are detailed in the NPV's December 3rd, 2021 proposal. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Comments?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution approving cabaret license for Tierras Tropicales Restaurant LLC, 84 Croton Avenue, Ossining, New York. Whereas pursuant to chapters 100 and 171 of the Code of the Village of Ossining Code, the authorized representative of the business Tierras Tropicales Restaurant LLC, 84 Croton Avenue, has presented an application to the village clerk as licensing officer for a cabaret license for 2022. And whereas pursuant to sections 100-3 and 100-5 of the code, the village clerk has caused an investigation into said application, and after receiving the result of the investigation, the application has been referred to the Board of Trustees for final approval. And whereas the Board of Trustees discussed the application at the December 8th, 2021 work session. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to the code, the Board of Trustees hereby approves a cabaret license for 2022 for Tierras Tropicales Restaurant LLC as follows. Tierras Tropicales Restaurant LLC, days/hours, Friday and Saturday, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Type of music, karaoke, and singer. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Comments? Chief, do you need to comment on this? Do you have anything to comment on this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I think we discussed this before. Stuart, anything on this that we need to know?
No, Mayor. In fact, as we discussed last week, this is actually requesting fewer days and less time. With regard to this particular location.
Okay, I'll only mention that karaoke is misspelled, so maybe I don't know if it's on a form somewhere or whatever. There's 2 ways to spell it, neither of them are that way. So if it's a form, somebody should just correct it. Not a big deal. Great, we're in the middle of a vote.
Okay, so all in favor as amended?
Aye.
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 Authorize the village manager to sign an agreement with Hodges Walsh and Burke LLP to serve as the village's special counsel for litigation defense. Resolved that upon review of the Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign an agreement with Hodges Walsh and Burke LLP, 55 Church Street, Suite 211, White Plains, New York, 10601, to serve as special counsel to the village of Ossining for litigation defense, and be it further resolved that the terms of the agreement are detailed in a November 10th, 2021 submission of Hodges Walsh and Burke LLP to the village's request for proposals for litigation defense counsel. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Comments? Okay, Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Authorizing the village manager to sign a proposal letter with Ithaca Housing Network. Resolved that upon review by the Corporation Counsel, the village manager is authorized to sign the December 6, 2021 Village of Ossining Affordable Housing Program Agreement with IFCA Housing Network, 138 Spring Street, Ossining, New York, 10562 for IFCA to continue administrating the rental component of the village's affordable housing program for 2022. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments? I just wanted to ask Stuart, we do this annually, right?
Yes, we do, Mayor.
Right, last year, I think it was off by a month or two, but okay, so this is just an annual thing. It's not, just.
Right, it's a January to December 31 calendar.
And
Okay,
there were no changes in the contract from last year.
good. Well, that was my follow-up question, so thank you. Comments? Okay,
Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Adoption of proposed local law 17, 2021 as local law 15 of 2021, a local law amending the effective date of portions of local law 8, 2021, specifically chapter 247 towing of the Village of Ossining Code. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining Village Board has been considering the adoption of proposed local law 17, 2021 titled a local law amending the effective date of portions of local law 8, 2021, specifically chapter 247 towing of the Village of Ossining Code. And whereas the proposed local law would delay the effective date for certain portions of chapter 247 from January 1st, 2022 to July 1st, 2022, specifically the requirements relating to maintenance and operation of vehicle storage facilities. And whereas a public hearing was conducted on December 15, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. via the Zoom platform pursuant to chapter 417 of the laws of 2021, affording the public the opportunity to comment on the proposed local law. And whereas the public hearing was closed on December 15, 2021, and whereas there are no impediments to approving proposed local law 17, 2021 as local law 15 of 2021, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby adopts proposed local law 17, 2021 as local law 15, 2021, and directs that said local law be filed and or distributed in accord with the applicable law. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
comments? Martha?
All those, oh,
Oh, sorry, Dana? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just clearing my throat.
Oh, you feeling it? By the way, how you feeling? I mean, we
I
went
still have
from,
some residual phlegm, but otherwise it's all good.
yeah,
Yeah.
Trustee White's been a little under the weather, so glad to see
Yeah.
you.
Head cold, just a head cold.
I know, people get crazy. Just
Yeah,
your good old fashioned head cold.
yeah, I know. Old school head cold.
Okay, we're in the vote. Martha?
yes, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Authorizing the village manager to file with the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York, DASNY, change of grantee requests. Resolved that the village manager is authorized to file with the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York the necessary paperwork to change the identified guarantee from the Village of Ossining to the Sing Sing Prison Museum for the following grants: EDAP 913 for $100,000, SAM 17057 for $2,375,000. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, we're going to comments. Number one, I missed this. If this was on, I just need a little explanation. Before we get there, just because we read it, it's grantee, not guarantee from the village. Identified grantee, and a little explanation from someone about what this is all about.
Karen, I'll start. If I miss something, please fill me in. Mayor, with regard to the Sing Sing Prison Museum, the village a number of years ago agreed to be the grantee, accepting the funds with regard to two grants that are administered by the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York. One is grant number 913 for $100,000. The other is a state municipal grant 17057 for $2,375,000. It has since been determined that Sing Sing Prison Museum itself could in fact be the named grantee for those two grants. And that is in fact what this does. This resolution will authorize Karen to complete the appropriate paperwork. That paperwork then has to go back to DASNY, the Dormitory Authority. They in turn send the paperwork to the sponsoring legislators. In this case, it would be Assemblywoman Galiff. It has to work its way through there, then to get SSPM put on as the actual grantee for those two grants. So that's what the purpose of this resolution is.
That's great. Most people, not everyone knows that the museum's actually a nonprofit. The municipality, is a government entity. So this is, in the long and short of it, a good thing because it puts it where it belongs, which is with the organization itself. And so good stuff. I just wanted a bit of an explanation. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Okay, vote. Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Finance resolution regarding unpaid cutting and removal charges and unpaid snow removal costs. Whereas the Village of Ossining Code Section 88-8 provides in part, it shall be the duty of any owner or person legally in possession of real property in the Village of Ossining to cut and remove all grass, weeds, and rank vegetation at an average height greater than 12 inches, and to remove all brush, dead, or noxious weeds within 10 days after notice to cut and remove the same has been served. And whereas pursuant to Section 88-10 of the code, where the owner fails to timely cut and remove the grass, brush, etc., all the village manager shall direct the superintendent of the Department of Public Works or a designee thereof to have the grass, weeds, or vegetation as detailed in Section 88-8 cut and removed. And whereas pursuant to Section 88-11 of the code, invoices were sent to the persons legally in possession of the premises, and those persons were to pay the invoices within 20 days. And whereas Section 88-11 then provides, upon the failure of the owner to pay the aforementioned invoice, the superintendent of public works shall certify the amount to the village treasurer. The amount so certified shall thereupon become and be a lien upon the property and shall be added to and become a part of the taxes next assessed and levied on such property to be collected and enforced in the same manner as taxes. And whereas Section 229-6C of the code provides the cost of work and materials furnished pursuant to subsection B, as the same shall appear from the report of the Director of Operations on file in the office of the village clerk, may be sued for and recovered from the owner, lessee, tenant, occupant, or other person having charge of the building or lot of ground abutting a public sidewalk or public way from which snow or ice has been removed pursuant to such section by the village, and shall be a lien upon the premises reported to have been cleaned or covered pursuant to such section, and may be assessed against the same in the village tax roll. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to Section 88-11 of the code, the unpaid fees for cutting and removal as set forth in the attached statement from the village treasurer be and the same hereby are levied upon the property in default and added to the annual tax levy with respect to such property. And be it further resolved, the amount hereby shall be collected and enforced in the same manner and at the same time as may be provided by law for the collection and enforcement of village taxes. And be it further resolved that pursuant to Section 229-6C of the code, the unpaid amounts for snow removal incurred by the village are a lien upon the below described premises and may be so assessed against those premises are provided by law for the collection and enforcement of village taxes. Do I have a motion?
Don't move.
Second.
Comments? Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay. Finance resolution regarding unpaid ETPA charges, whereas by resolution dated September 5th, 2018, the Board of Trustees declared that an emergency existed as set forth in the Emergency Tenant Protection Act, ETPA. And whereas by resolution dated February 25th, 2019, the Board of Trustees modified the September 5th, 2018 resolution so that the ETPA would only apply to buildings completed prior to January 1st, 1974 with 21 or more units. And whereas New York Unconsolidated Law Section 8628B provides the legislative body of any city, town, or village acting to impose regulation of residential units pursuant to the provisions of this act may impose on the owner of every building containing housing accommodations subject to such regulation an annual charge for each such accommodation in such amount as is deemed necessary for the expense to be incurred in the administration of such regulation. And whereas New York Unconsolidated Law Section 8628E provides in part the failure to pay the prescribed assessment not to exceed $20 per unit for any accommodation subject to this act to constitute a charge due and owing to such city, town, or village which has imposed an annual charge for each such housing accommodation pursuant to subdivision B of this section. Any such city, town, or village shall be authorized to provide for the enforcement of the collection of such charges by commencing an action or proceedings for the recovery of such fees, or by the filing of a lien upon the building and lot. Such methods for the enforcement of the collection of such charges shall be sole remedy for the enforcement of this section. And whereas pursuant to the 2019 Housing Stability and Tenant Protection Act, the annual ETPA stabilization fee is $20 per unit. And whereas the village received from New York State Homes and Community Renewal an invoice for $14,700 based upon a charge of $20 per unit with 735 eligible units. And whereas the village may assess a surcharge for its administrative costs in connection with the ETPA program. And whereas the resolution dated September 2nd, 2022, the Board of Trustees authorized the village treasurer to assess a $5 per unit surcharge for each of the ETPA eligible units of the Finance Department send out notices to the owners of the eligible units of the $5 surcharge, and that payment must be made to the Finance Department by a certain date, and that the aforementioned notice should advise owners of the eligible ETPA units that if payment is not timely made, the outstanding amount shall be made as a lien on the building's property tax bill. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to the September 2nd, 2020 resolution, the unpaid ETPA charges as set forth in the annex list are levied upon the listed properties and added to the annual tax levy with respect to such properties, and be it further resolved, the amounts levied hereby shall be collected and enforced in the same manner and at the same time as may be provided by law for the collection and enforcement of village taxes. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments? Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approval and authorization for village manager to sign side letter of agreement with CSEA. Resolved that the Village of Ossining Board of Trustees hereby approves the side letter of agreement between the Village of Ossining and the Civil Service Employees Association Incorporated, CSEA, regarding the titles of park groundskeeper, community service worker, animal warden, and youth advocate Spanish speaking, effective January 1st, 2022, and authorizes the village manager to execute such agreement on its behalf. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments? What is this actually? What is Karen?
Sure. Karen, do you want me to?
No, I
Oh,
got
I'm
it.
sorry, Maddie.
I got it.
Whatever.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
So if you remember during the budget discussions, we talked about changing the job level for our parks workers to
got it.
replace laborers. So this is the resolution allowing that to happen.
Okay, so it's a title engineering here. Okay, great,
So it's a job class adjustment. Yes.
great. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we'll vote. Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Fire Department appointment, Washington Hook and Ladder number 2. Resolved that upon recommendation of the Fire Chief, Steve Rudemeyer, Ossining, New York, was elected an active member, Washington Hook and Ladder number 2 for interior firefighting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Comments? Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there any continuing business of the board?
I'm going to kick it off. I don't know if others have, and I am being mindful of time. So I don't normally do this, but I received a note about garbage cans. We have had many requests for people to put back garbage cans and put more garbage cans. A couple of years ago, again, Manny always remembers exactly when we're told there's a reason why some garbage cans were removed, and that had to do with the fact that when you put garbage cans, people who should be throwing them into more of the commercial places that live in apartments have been throwing them into what I would call the public garbage cans, thus actually creating more of sort of disgraceful show of garbage on our public street because they don't want to walk to the back of their house, or rather throw the garbage on their way to their car or whatever. So there have been studies, and Paul, who's one of our department heads, had informed the board, I think it was 2 years ago, it was 3 years ago, that there were a lot of studies about the number of garbage cans and how having more garbage cans is actually detrimental to the scenario. But the reality is that for many of us, and we all live here, I I think everybody in the gallery, -1, lives in this community, or -2, and we walk around. There's got to be a better balance of garbage cans. I did get the note, Karen. So I think when Trustee Lopez asked questions about both roads and garbage cans at some point, and when Manny Casada asked, we envision more than 2 garbage cans being added in total. So I would like to, normally I do this in email. I'm going to do it like now on public record so that people who complain to us and comment about it understand that we do follow up, and we all do. I know we've been really congratulate each other, but it's you have to be a little more balanced. I would strongly suggest and recommend that more garbage cans be added. I would also, Stuart, not a high priority, but I've also noticed on private properties, the Arcadian and the CVS on both ends, both in the village and then in the town, have removed garbage cans, which means there's garbage in the parking lots, and so has Domino's and a lot of places. I know that the municipality's job is not to educate people to stop throwing garbage on the streets. It bothers me to no end, not only because it's terrible role modeling for the next generation, but because we live on the side of a hill, essentially, it all ends up in our water system, all of it. Unless it's removed by hand, it all ends up in the Hudson and in all sorts of places that cause all sorts of problems. So I would like to have some more garbage cans. I don't know if any trustees really wants to discuss this. So that would be my request. And I'll talk to Stuart separately, and if any other trustee wants to be involved in this, to see if we can do something about the private properties. You know, I hate to pass legislation on every single thing that should get done. It's a lot of work for passing common sense, but we'll have to talk more about it. I do appreciate, by the way, and there's no disagreement with Paul's studies and his point of view on it. He does have a lot of experience in an engineering degree and knows more about this than I do. But just as a resident and what we hear about it, would appreciate it. So, and I don't know if anybody else has any comments, but I do want to, it's been about a year and more than one of us has asked for this to be done. So I'd like to suggest that it get done sooner rather than later, if that's possible.
I guess the only thing that I will add to that one, and this obviously, as you mentioned, Mayor, is education. Sure. How do we educate the public in relationship to what is there? You know, if you guys go to, I haven't walked in New York City, but when I used to go there more often to visit, I guess, New York City kind of limit themselves to where garbage cans are located as well. So if you want it through garbage, it's kind of hard. I usually put it in my pocket and just take it until I find a garbage can. Unfortunately, education in our community sometimes is hard to do that to the community. I remember we allocated some money from the downtown fund to do some advertising and education to the downtown businesses. Maybe what we can do right now is when the Big Little campaign was, maybe what we could do is we should revisit this and kind of modify what we have and start actually sending this out. Because, you know, as the pandemic happened and what we're trying to come out of the pandemic and what we're going through right now, I think is always helpful. We have all these great community members, groups that maybe we should start reaching out to and helping us, you know, from the Chamber of Commerce to different allocations or different members that are key in the downtown. Maybe that's what we should start. You know, if we have some of the flyers that left, I guess, which maybe not, maybe we should allocate some money to reprint some of the stuff and kind of rebrand what we had as a part of the 2022 initiative. Because as we know, we have a big program as we going forward to actually allocate a lot of the money for the $10 million that we got. So I think we should start getting ready to those new businesses. Karen, I know you're meeting with some local businesses, I think tomorrow. Is it tomorrow?
Not tomorrow.
Okay, is it next week?
Uh,
I think she's off.
I don't, I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I
We're talking
don't,
about that, some of the local businesses that we met a couple of weeks back, and I believe I saw an email that they wanted to meet again and kind of go over some items.
uh,
Some of the bars
the-
and restaurants.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't, I'll have to double check. I don't remember seeing that, trustee, but, I
I'm
do.
mistaken, because I
Yeah.
remember seeing an email that, you know, that someone, anyway, in any regards, we have a list of some Spanish local businesses that maybe we should engage to help us with this as well. So maybe that's the approach that will be my 2 cents. Start reaching out to community members, and start reaching out to some of the local restaurants and some of the local businesses around our downtown, and actually start asking them to help us at the same time. So that's sort of my 2 cents in here. It's not just about garbage cans. I think it's a combination of both. You know, it's putting that, allocating that, because we went through, just as Mayor, as you remember, we went through this cycle on Broad Avenue about the benches, the tables, the garbage cans, you know, what we can do. There's a whole group of people that actually go around the village, pick up garbage, you know, so all these things, it kind of, I think it's time for us to start focusing more in our community engagement education portion, and actually start having them help us with the rest of the community.
So the village, not the staff put together, we've actually done the studies. I don't mean to sound impatient. By March, the beginning of when the winter ends and more people are going to be outdoors, my expectation is that a plan be put that's more than 2 garbage cans. I think that's a fair
not,
statement.
I think that's, you know, just to, I know that you don't want to necessarily have this discussion now, but I do think it's important to note that that's not the final solution on.
Got it.
You know,
Understood.
you know,
I'd
so
like to see that.
It's a bigger, more comprehensive plan, but to Trustee Quesada's point, it is more cans. If we don't do it correctly, will mean more garbage that we don't want to see. They do become magnets. That is, we've seen
Right.
that over and over. It is unfortunately one of the most challenging and complicated things that we deal with, because this should be easy. Don't put garbage on the ground. You know, we just have a lot of garbage. And some of it has to do with the garbage that's provided in residential buildings, or not being, the facilities not being provided. So that's also part of it. But we are making headway. We have business owners coming to us about problems that they're having and that we're having that all affect quality of life. So I don't think it's going to be immediate, but I think that we're making headway.
No, I agree. And I said that. I think in some of the private, you know, big companies like McDonald's that used to have, you know, they sell things that are disposable, but there's no garbage cans near where they sell it, and the many delis, and it's the downtown, but it's all over the place. So I would really appreciate that. That would be something before the good weather comes back to us, when people will be out more. And if this pandemic stays with us, we learned that people are outdoors a lot more. And we're actually creating walkable community where people are actually encouraged. You guys put in these amazing number of picnic tables, which I love. I've seen so many people use it more and more, but they got to have some place to take the containers and put them. And it's causing, I think, environmental issues as well, which is why I brought it up, that it's both private, it's us. I'm just hoping for a better solution in writing that also talks about the commercial garbage behind some of the buildings, that the owners of the building should step up. So it's a combination of a whole bunch of things. That being said, I don't know if anybody else has any comments. We're closing, I think, new business, and we are at the end and ready for adjournment, or do we have anything else going on here?
There's something under new business.
Visitor recognition or?
The mayor, we had.
Oh, SPCA, got it.
Right, thank you.
Authorizing the village manager to sign a contract with the SPCA of Westchester Incorporated. Resolved that upon review by the Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign a contract with the SPCA of Westchester Incorporated, 590 North State Road, Briarcliff Manor, New York, 10510, for a one-year term, January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022, for $35,330.94, annually paid in monthly installments of $2,860.91, to provide care and shelter for homeless and stray dogs and cats seized by dog control officers, animal control officers, police, and other agents of the municipality. And be it further resolved that pursuant to the contract, the village also agrees to pay to the SPCA of Westchester Incorporated the following charges for the trap, neuter, return, TNR program for feral cats brought to the SPCA with village permission: $55 for each female cat spay procedure, $40 for each male neuter procedure, both fees inclusive of rabies vaccination and ear notching, and $50 for euthanasia/cremation reserved only for cats who are suffering as a result of illness or injury or treatment or rehabilitation is not possible. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments? I will only add that, and we say this every year that we do the contract, we're one of a few municipalities that actually invest so much in SPC. Not every municipality, you're not obligated to, and many don't. So we appreciate their services, and I think it actually adds to the quality of life. In this community, there are a lot of people involved in this. So I think it's something to be proud of, and we do manage a contract. You know, we do care about, you know, where the money's being spent. We think this is a right thing and a good thing to do. So I'm in support of it, and I think we're in the middle of a vote. Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
This is, I'm sorry, this is another annual, right? Every year we do this at this
Yes,
time?
it is, Mayor.
Stuart?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
I just don't remember it always being at the last legislative, but must be just me. Okay.
Sometimes we've done it in early January to just when it comes in, but this one actually came in to us from the SPCA
Right.
in early December.
And they've rebuilt that building,
Yes.
which, by the way, looks amazing for those of you that are involved with, I think Maddie is, if I'm not mistaken. Have you been to the building? Should take a ride. It's I mean, they did a great job. At least I don't have any animals that go there, but I took a trip over there. I did a great job. Okay, Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, is there anybody here from the public who would like to address the board on issues not related to the agenda, but of relevance to the common good of the village? If so, please click on your virtual hand.
I don't think we have people
We don't have
inside the
anyone.
meeting.
Then can I have a motion and a second to adjourn to executive session?
And it's
So moved.
for matters of collective bargaining and real property.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Before we go to vote, thank you all. Last legislative session, because I know as soon as we vote, whoever is hosting No Names Mentioned is clicking us right out of the meeting. So I thank everybody for an amazing year. As I said in the beginning, I'll say it at the end, really proud to be on this board. I hope everybody feels the same. Amazing stuff being done. More than I expected coming into this year. So very grateful. And unless somebody has comments, we can go to the vote.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Just
Oh,
wanted to say one quick
Where are
thing.
you? Oh, there you are, Manny.
Marissa, thank you for being in your first village board meeting. Don't be too happy because it's not only 9:25. We usually go a little bit longer. So if
Oh
you're
man,
coming
come
in,
on.
if you're coming over at the next phase, should we not be too long? I hope.
We've gotten better. Okay, ready
All
for the
those in
vote,
fa-
Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Have a
Opposed?
good night. Oh, sorry.
Opposed? All right, it's good, it's good.
Have a good night. It is 9:25 and 15th of December. A very happy and joyful holiday season to all those, to everyone on this call, and entire staff and board. And have a great evening.